who are here. My name is Kevin Bruni. I'm the athletic director at Grand Rapids Christian Middle School. This is my 12th year at the middle school and my 15th at Grand Rapids Christian. And so actually, I don't think that's accurate. I think it's my 10th year here and my 13th at Grand Rapids Christian, my 20th overall. Sorry, I didn't mean to lie. I was just misspoken. But I'm glad to be here, glad to be the athletic director. I'm a father. My son, Jacob, is in 7th grade at Grand Rapids Christian Middle School. So I share the parenting role with you in middle school athletics and the challenges that are associated with that. And so just grateful to be here with you to talk about swimming this year. Now, swimming is new to us. We made a shift. So those of you who have been with us in the past, we used to do this as a co-ed thing in the spring for a very short season. The high school coaches and I spoke about this, and Colin, and we just feel like the next step we need to take is to join more of a league in swimming in the proper seasons for swimming so that we can get more kids involved in a sport that they can see themselves doing in high school. And so we've made a shift into a league with some public schools around us. There's a bigger league, the West Michigan Middle School League, that's allowing us to participate in this as a girls program in winter 1 and as a boys program in winter 2. And so we're very excited about that change. We will not be participating in that spring league anymore. We'll just be doing this. And so this will be a great switch for us. It's better for our programs, better for kids. The girls season, this is great. There isn't much for the girls to do in winter 1. So this is a fantastic spot for it. Same thing winter 2, when the girls play basketball, there wasn't a lot for the boys to do. You know, we have wrestling and ski, which are kind of niche sports. And so this gives us a chance for kids to participate in something else, to maybe see themselves as a swimmer for the winter season. And so we're excited about that. Same philosophy as always. We want kids to have the opportunity to try this sport, to learn about it, to see if they can see themselves doing it, to become stronger, more fit, to have things go well, to have things go poorly, to have a great race and a terrible race, to learn how to interact with a team. It's all part of a great experience. And so we're honored to have them participate in swim this year. For team formation, there really isn't any team formation in swim. We have 6th through 8th grade. That's what's allowed in this league, 6th through 8th grade. So there's no 5th grade. But in 6th through 8th grade, they are allowed to participate. So we have kids from GRCMS. We have kids from Ada Christian. We have kids from Rockford Christian that participate in this team. And we're excited about that. So that everybody, that no matter which of those schools you go to, that all in some way are a feeder school for Grand Rapids Christian, and Rockford is obviously a part of the Grand Rapids Christian schools. You know, they have an opportunity to swim all together. And so we're really excited about that. Some of the kids are swimmer only. You had to sign up for this. Some are diver only. Some are trying to do both because they don't know which one they want to do, or if maybe they're just trying to discover if God has given them gifts in one or the other. And so that's great. All of it is welcome. All of it has been talked about by Colin and his staff and how we're going to do it. So let's talk about some of that staff. Coach Colin is with us. Colin, if you can just kind of wave your hands so people can see you. Colin has been with our middle school program for how many years, Colin? Is this your 3rd year maybe?
My 4th year.
4th year. Okay, 4th year. He's got 3 assistants for sure, and I think 1 more volunteer assistant. Is Taylor with us, or did you just get information from Taylor?
I just got information from Taylor. She unfortunately could not join us.
So Taylor will be our dive coach, and then Addie and Sam will be assisting Colin with swimming. And then there's another assistant that sometimes helps with dive. We have a lot of kids that want to try dive. We have way less kids that do dive in high school, so we're glad to have a big group to teach. And hopefully some kids can find their gifts and their excitement in that space. But that's why we'll have an assistant that's just volunteering to help Taylor out a little bit. So Colin, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, why you're so excited about doing this, and, you know, kind of introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. As Kevin said, my name is Colin. This is my 4th year here at Grand Rapids Christian. It's my 2nd year as head coach of this middle school program. This is my 2nd year with the girls high school team. I was with the boys high school team as well last year. I've been swimming for, about 14 years. So I spent a lot of time with this sport. I just love it. I've got a lot of other coaching experiences from other schools that I'm hoping to bring into here as well. My coaching philosophy is I just love swimming. I want people to get more interactions with it, have some experiences, and kind of with that, try to create this program into a little bit more of what it would look like in high school rather than kind of what it's been in the past, kind of have that translate over a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And if you know Colin from years past, he does a great job. He used to kind of lead our other group that had about 50 some kids in it. And he'd have to really more be in charge of the adults that were helping our 50 kids, which is a totally different kind of job than what he gets to do this year, where he actually gets to be in the mix, coaching the kids a little bit more instead of coaching the adults all the time. So I know that's something that is exciting for him too. So a couple of things. Let's talk a little bit about our schedule. So we will practice on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The show up time will be 5:30. The team meeting will begin at 5:40, and that will all be outside of the water. Okay, so if we could encourage you of something, it would be to have your daughter come to the facility changed and ready with sweatpants on and a sweatshirt or whatever, and be ready to have the team meeting by 5:40. Coach loves to talk with the kids and do little icebreaker games and get to know you games and things that connect the kids together. We have kids from 3 different schools and lots of different grade levels, so he's really good at helping kids connect. And so they use that time to talk swimming, to get to know each other, and it's a big part of our team, and it's an important part of our team. So although we don't hit the water till 6, that 30 to 40 minutes is a critical time for the experience of your child. So please make sure you have them there by 5:30, and they know that they're ready to go by 5:40. And then we will be done in the water around 7:10 and out of there by 7:15-ish. So pickup then becomes around that 7:10, 7:15 time. Okay, that's kind of our basic start. As you may have heard or remembered, we're not going to be swimming at Kelvin. Kelvin is too full. That's why we've always done swim after all of their seasons. They have a men's and a women's team there. They have a youth team that's there. They have swim lessons going on there for like my daughter's age and stuff all throughout the year. And then our girls team is there now, and our boys team will start there very shortly. So they have so many teams. There literally isn't water space there. We would love to be that close to this neighborhood, but we can't do that. So to join this league, we had to work with our friends at GRPS to have a local Grand Rapids pool that we could participate in. Ottawa was not available. They're too full. They have swimming aquatics, GR aquatics, all these other things that are happening there, parks and recreation stuff. We couldn't get a consistent time there. But our friend Brody Larson at GRPS Middle Schools was able to get us into City Middle School, which some of you may remember as Creston High School from back when I was a student there, and maybe you as well. It was Creston High School. So that's the building we'll be in. That address is 1720 Plainfield Avenue, but we actually don't enter through the main school entrance. So I want to show you a picture of kind of where we're going to go in, so you have a sense of this. Okay. Colin has these. He'll share these in your email. But this is Plainfield. This is the front of, this is Creston's basketball gym. Their main entrance is actually kind of above this screenshot here, up here. And so the street right by the property there is called Sweet Street. Okay. You're going to go up. It's up a hill. If you remember this from Creston, it's up a kind of a steep hill. That's on Sweet Street. The first road past the parking lot is kind of like a service road. It has a sign that says Stoddard Avenue, but it's like a service road. And then there's a faculty parking lot right here. I don't know if you can see this big square here, but that's the drop off. This circle is where the door is to the pool, which is right here. And so I have another photo for you. Let me see if I can share that one with you. Present something else. This is what the door actually looks like. Boom. So here's the faculty parking lot. This is Stoddard Avenue. And this is the faculty parking lot that you just saw. And this is the door that the kids will enter to go to the swimming pool. We will have a coach stationed there waving to you with a Grand Rapids Christian shirt on, saying hello and making sure everybody knows where to go. So don't fear about that. We'll have somebody out there ready for you to welcome your child in as you pull up this road into the faculty parking, drop your daughter off. You can leave the same way. So that's what the door looks like. And this is where you'll go to make sure that you drop them off in the right spot. You'll take kind of beyond playing field there and come to Sweet Avenue. Now, if you're coming from Grand Rapids Christian Middle School, it might take you past Kent Country Club over here and down this road or whatever, but just make sure that you kind of understand that geography. Does anybody have a question right now? You can unmute yourself about the facility we're going to be going to, where to get in, how to get there, that sort of thing. Anybody have a question about that?
I had a question about after they swim, do they change or not?
It's a good question. So there's a locker room that's going to be available to us. Their team is going to use there's no one in this pool facility except their team, the GRPS middle school team, and they're going to use the girls' locker room. Okay. They're the only people that access that locker room during the swim season. All of the visiting teams that come for a meet or whatever, they use the boys' locker room. Kind of like in a basketball game, you'll go to a gym and the girls' team will use the home girls' locker room and the girls' team would use the boys' locker room. Obviously, it's, so people can't get in, but same idea here. The girls will be allowed to change, use the restrooms, that sort of thing, inside the boys' locker room, which will be secure for them. And then team meetings will occur outside of that space. They'll occur out in the hallway. They'll occur in the bleachers, wherever we find the best place. And Colin's going to go there and visit and figure out the best place for that. He's going to meet Mr. Brody Larson there sometime this week. But that'll all be clear for you. But yes, they can change after. They will have a dedicated locker room. And it will be the boys' locker room, but there's no boys at the school at that time. So should be no issue with that. Other questions? Yeah, Annie, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Yeah. I can't hear you. Should be in the bottom left corner there. There's a little microphone looking thing kind of next to the title.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can also hear someone else, which is odd. But.
Okay. I was curious I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm coming from the north end of Rockford and I don't want to drive back and forth. Can we sit in the gallery during practice, or is it kind of the expectation that you're just dropping your kids off and figuring out what to do in the in-between? Which I can do. It's just, I'd rather not drive all back and forth if possible.
Yeah, I'm just going to mute that so that other one turns off. You can unmute yourself and continue the conversation. I'm not sure. And the reason is we've not been there. We haven't experienced this pool yet. My hope would be that just like at Kelvin, we're able to kind of sit in the gallery, read our book, check our email. Of course, we would never waste time scrolling on Instagram or anything like that. But hopefully we're able to do that sort of thing at this venue. But we have to make sure we have permission for that. Or if they have any building policies or procedures, we have to follow. Again, it's not our building. And so we just have to check into that. But I appreciate you saying that. Colin will talk to Brody about that when he goes there. Colin, do you have an answer about that from Brody already?
I don't have an answer about that. I just have one clarification I'd like to make about practices. You guys are, if we have the availability, more than welcome to be up in the stands, but I just ask that we stay off the actual pool deck, just to kind of let the coaches do their thing and let that all happen. But we will get an answer about whether the stands will be open for you guys.
Yeah, and there is, honestly, like I've been over there recently. There's a couple little spots over there, too. They do have some coffee shops. There is a ice cream store. I mean, Frosty Boy's a legit ice cream store. I don't know if they're open in the winter, but, I mean, I'm never disappointed when I go there. So there are some places you can go as well. But we'll hopefully be able to do that. You can also stay parked in that parking lot and sit there, too, if we're not allowed in. But hopefully we'll be allowed in. So we'll see about that for you. Thanks for that question. Anyone else have a question at this point?
Kevin, this is Betsy Winkle.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about swimsuits. Do we need to purchase swimming swimsuits? Will there be a team swimsuit?
It's a very good question. We've not had a team swimsuit before, correct, Colin? We've not done that. I think one thing that we have done is we've said that it has to be one-piece bathing suits because that's kind of how swimming operates. So we do want one piece. I don't know if we've suggested like everybody gets if you're going to buy a suit, get a black one or whatever. But at this point, maybe for next year, like I don't know what the girls team does, Colin. Do they have a specific suit that every girl wears? Is that something we want to investigate in the future potentially? Now that we're going to be kind of more of a legit team visiting other pools and that sort of thing. I know this year's a little different as we're kind of auditing meets and kind of getting our feelers out there. Why don't you give us kind of your thoughts on that, Colin?
Yeah, so for the middle school teams I've been a part of in the past, we haven't gotten like an actual team suit. We've kind of made it like try to be the team colors. So for us, it would be like a black suit would be ideal. But we've never really done with any of the middle school teams. I've done like an actual team suit for the girls. For the high school teams, we do have an actual team suit that we get. That could be something if we get a lot of interest about, we could look into purchasing maybe for an additional little fee. But if there's a lot of interest for that, maybe we could do that in upcoming years.
And Colin, we do have caps, right? We still have all those middle school swim caps.
Yes, I believe Elena has them currently, but I will get those from her and then provide those at practice.
So everybody will get a team issued swim cap. We had a wonderful donor that has been buying those for us for a couple of years. They're just passionate about helping us out, and we really appreciate when people are willing to do that. So we're able to give everybody at least a team issued swim cap at this point. So everybody will get one of those. That was a great question, Betsy. Thank you. Does anybody else have a question?
I have a question about the swim caps. Are any of them big enough for girls that have braids?
I believe so.
Okay.
Colin would know a little better than me, but our high schoolers use them, and they have bigger noggins than some of our middle school kids, and a lot of times bigger hair. But yeah, I think it does work. Colin, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The caps will fit. They fit most heads. They're silicone, or I think these ones might be latex, but either way, they do stretch kind of over the head. They'll be able to fit. Sometimes they look a little silly if the girls have a ponytail, but that's kind of how it is.
Yeah. Good question. As you think of more, I'm going to continue with meets. So what we've been able to arrange, because we're not officially part of the league this year, kind of like a 1-year waiting process for that, so we can get on the schedule for next year. But the league has been really good about allowing us to ask for opportunities to swim. So we're going to get to swim at this pool, so our home pool, in 3 swim meets. So we're going to swim at the same time in a meet. We'll be exhibition, but they'll be in the lanes against these schools. So we're going to be in the meets with the first one, I believe, is East Grand Rapids, GRPS, and us. The next meet is East Kentwood, GRPS, and us. And then the last meet is Forest Hills, GRPS, and us. So we get to participate at our pool in all of the events this year. So we'll get really good at knowing our pool. And then also get to participate in 3 meets. So kids can see improvement over time, which is something we weren't able to get with our single meet season before. So we get a 2-month season now with a chance to kind of grow into some events, some strokes, learn some new things along the way, and then try to improve, week after week. I think we have a meet, and then we have kind of a Thanksgiving week where we don't, and then we have a meet in the start of December and a meet the next week in December. So 3 competitive events against other people. We just won't be considered part of the league standings this year until next year. So hopefully that gives you some info about meets. We do have a team snap schedule for you. Coach will, if he hasn't already, he'll add everybody to that. The schedule is already in there. All the practices, all the meets are already in there, so you can check that out. And just let Coach know if you have any questions. Now that you'll be loaded on there, you'll have a point of contact, which is him, and he'll be able to help answer your questions. What else do I have on here? There could be fees at these meets. I don't know. I asked Brody about that. And he said, yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, okay, well, let's expect to pay a fee at the meet, just like you did at our meet, right? And so I'm not sure exactly what to think about that, but potentially make sure when you come to a meet that you bring a couple of dollars with you to try to get in and watch and support your child. We don't have a fee schedule yet from them for renting or using their pool. And so once I get that, I'll make sure that I figure out a reasonable amount for all of us to make sure that we do that till we can learn these things and build it into our budget for the school. So that is obviously our goal, to build it into our budget, but right now we don't really have a way to do that. And so we're trying to figure it out. We never paid a fee at Calvin, so this is kind of new to us. So we're trying to see how it's going to go. So we appreciate your patience as we figure that out. The last thing I want to mention, and then we'll open it up for questions. Like in track, the coaches will decide the events with your child, but ultimately the coach will decide, right? Like we need to have a team where the coaches are going to see like, okay, we have a need in this event. So we need a person to run that or to swim that, just like in track, right? And so we believe your child has some ability in this area, and it's good for the team if they learn this stroke and this length. And so we certainly want to work with your kids as far as like what they're interested in swimming, what they're naturally good at. We're going to push them and stretch them to learn new strokes, even though I'm a freestyle specialist. Great. We still need kids at all of the different strokes in the high school. So we have to be teaching kids about the different strokes in middle school. Am I right about this, Colin? Like we have to do that. And sometimes your child, like my son, Jake, he was in diving. He could only do 3 dives. We had to do 5. So he had to do 2 dives that he couldn't really do. And he kind of laughed them off in the meet when he did them, and they were a terrible flop, and he would just kind of laugh and move on. But like the coaches needed him to do these 5 dives, so he attempted those 5 dives, even though he wasn't perfectly comfortable with all of them, right? That's what practices are for. That's what growth is for. So please support, like the coaches are going to hopefully give your kids some of the events they want, but sometimes they might be asked to do an event they don't want to do. Please support our coach and the team aspect of sport, in that we need people to fill the different roles so that we have a chance to win points in meets. Colin, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, Kevin, you kind of summed that up well. I do think part of swimming is pushing yourself to try new things and do things that are hard. So I think your kid may be expected to do an event that they're a little nervous about, maybe something that they don't know if they can or cannot do. I promise I won't put your kid in an event I know they can't do. I'll always put them in something that they will be able to finish. So that's just something I like to get out of the way. I like to challenge the kids, give them something that they can work on. So.
Okay, any other questions? We've got a couple minutes here before 7:30. That's when I have my coaches meeting with all of my coaches for Winter 1. So does anybody have any other questions?
I'm just curious, is it similar to middle school track in that most kids can compete in 3 events? Is that typically how many events they're going to swim in during a meet?
Yep. So the way it works with swim, you'll be able to do 1 relay and 2 individual swims.
Cool.
And we do try to make that happen. Sometimes with relays, it's a little hard to get everyone into one, but most of the time our goal is to get 2 individuals and 1 relay.
Colin, in a meet, can kids dive and swim?
Yes. So diving counts as one of their individual events. So they would be able to do, if they were swimming and diving at the same meet, they'd be able to swim in a relay. They could swim maybe the 50 free, and then they'd be able to do diving as well.
Christina, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just sorry. I had to walk away from the movie that's on in the background. Just confirming that there is dive at all of these meets. Okay, perfect.
That is one thing I wanted to talk about as well. A lot of your kids did say that they wanted to swim and dive, which has been pretty on par for previous years. How I want it to work this year, I do want to give us a little bit of priority to those who just want to dive. So if you're going to swim and dive, we're going to swim on Mondays and Thursdays, and your kid will dive on Wednesdays. We'll have a big group of them that go over to dive on Wednesdays. And other than that, you will be swimming if you want to swim and dive.
And
that
if you
does
want to
work
dive,
well. Sorry, go ahead, Christina.
no, oh, sorry, I was just following up with that. If you want to dive only, you dive every single night, or do we only have dive coach a couple nights?
Yep. So diving will happen at the same time as swim, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
And it does work well. Like my son did both last year. He learned enough in his one day that he could do 3 dives fairly proficiently, but couldn't get the other ones. And other kids that did swim and dive and only had 1 day a week to learn to dive, they were able to get all 5 dives, right? Like every person is different, how quickly they learn or what comes natural to them. So it does still work. I think it's great. Have them explore it. And it will work fine. And again, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for exploration and improvement.
There is one more thing with diving. Diving's a little bit more particular than swimming is. In a meet, you will dive 5 events. And in order to compete diving at that meet, you do need to have those 5 dives down. So that first meet is a little hard to reach sometimes, especially if you're doing swimming and diving. So Taylor will work with your kids pretty individually about kind of what that list will look like for them, if they will be able to get those 5 dives by that first meet, and kind of work individually with them on what a good plan would look like.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. Well, we appreciate you attending tonight. We're excited for this new phase of swimming at Grand Rapids Christian Middle and High School. And let us know if you have questions. Coach will send out an email. Is that going to go tonight or tomorrow or Friday or?
I plan on having it sent out tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. He'll include the pictures of the venue so that you can see those and a lot of other details that he's thought of much more in depth than I have. Please continue to ask him questions, and if he doesn't have an answer for something, he'll let me know. So, okay, thanks a lot. See you later.